early America was a time of heavy conservatism, strict societal order, deep-setting traditions, and much more. Women wore dresses down to their feet, making sure never to show their ankles. Dancing was a proper form of social interaction. Music was mellow, often classical, and times were, well, let's face it, boring. But the 1920s shaped that right up. Some of the major causes leading up to the rebellious culture of the Roaring Twenties were the recent measures of Congress, such as empowering women with the right to vote, the reform of many prior traditions, such as Darwinism theories becoming more popular, and of course, the biggie, Prohibition. The youth had just been pushed too far and had just been given just the right amount of empowerment to be able to get the whole culture to rebel. Rebellion and reform seem to be persisting trends throughout all history, but these factors helped contribute to, at this point in time, the youth making a big change and really influencing the future of society. With the new wave of flapper girls hitting the scene, dress styles got much shorter and much more risque as considered of the times. Hairstyles became much shorter, and the overall appearance of many women changed drastically. Many other events empowered people in the 1920s as well. In 1925, the famous monkey trials challenged the traditionalist thought of evolution versus religion, especially in schools. In the same year, Nellie T. Ross became the first female governor in Wyoming. Then in 1926, a woman swam the English Channel. In 1927, Lindbergh flew solo across the Atlantic. And don't forget, in 1928, sliced bread was invented. The Roaring Twenties seem to be booming more every day. One of the biggest dances to hit the scene in the 1920s was called the Charleston. It was made popular in the 1923 musical Runnin' Wild. Most of the time, the Charleston was associated with flappers and the speakeasies because it was immoral and provocative. It mocked the dries who were too uptight to try dancing in such a provocative way. The flapper girls were the outrageous girls that wore risque clothes, did crazy dances, went to speakeasies, and overall rebelled more than any others. The 1920s were famous for the onset of the flapper girls. And as you can see, another big hit of the 20s was lively music, especially jazz. Things people could dance to but were often previously regarded as immoral. There were many ways in which the 1920s showed a revolution in culture in ways that the children rebelled during that time. But some of the main ones were the flapper girls and their drastic change in hair, clothing, and attitudes, along with the speakeasies and other underground operations, music, and society as a whole. It all changed in the 1920s, so if your grandparents ever say, "What's the matter with kids these days? Always rebelling," you can just remind them of the 1920s and the string of rebellions that happened in that time.